There are two kinds of men in this world. The first one tries to earn love. He texts first. He compliments. He plans. He pleases. He does everything by the book. And still, she pulls away. Not because he wasn't kind, but because kindness without power doesn't create obsession. It creates comfort. And comfort doesn't last. The second kind of man is different. He doesn't run after attention. He doesn't explain his worth. He becomes the gravity that makes her orbit. He doesn't win her by performance. He draws her in by presence. Quiet, focused, grounded, and without saying a word, he stays in her mind long after he leaves the room. What separates these two men? It's not money, looks, or luck. It's traits, invisible traits, subtle, strategic, psychological signals that most men ignore, but that high-value men master without effort. In this video, you're not just going to learn how to attract women. You're going to understand why some men become unforgettable, even when they say nothing. You'll discover the 5 traits that make a woman emotionally addicted to your presence. And you'll learn how to embody them with calm power and strategic clarity. If you stay until the end, this won't just change how you talk to women. It will change how women feel when they're around you. Because once you understand how real masculine energy moves, you don't chase, you don't explain, you don't ask to be chosen. You become the man she can't unsee, the one her mind replays, the one her body remembers. Let's begin. Trait 1. Emotional control that commands respect. Most men think showing emotion means being real. They think that if they open up, explain how they feel, and react with passion, women will appreciate the vulnerability. They won't. Because obsession doesn't come from emotional exposure. It comes from emotional control. A woman doesn't get obsessed with a man who reacts. She gets obsessed with a man who feels, but never flinches. Machiavelli believed, the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Meaning this, the man who rises above emotion and acts with clarity, while others drown in feelings, becomes the one who leads, the one who lasts. The fool collapses, then reflects. The wise man sees through the chaos and moves first, calmly, strategically. Here's how this plays out in real life. She gives you attitude. She says less, delays her replies, questions your tone. She wants to see if you'll lose control. Most men do. They send long messages with cringe emojis sometimes. They overtalk. They try to solve something that isn't even a problem yet. But the high-value man, he doesn't fight the fire. He contains it, without letting it burn him. Here's a powerful move you can make right now. Next time she pulls back, don't lean forward. Don't question her mood. Don't adjust your posture to fit her energy. Instead, return to your mission. Train, build, focus. Let her see that your emotional state is untouchable, because the man who doesn't chase after peace becomes the peace she chases. Let's go deeper, because the next trait doesn't create respect, it creates obsession through something far more dangerous: mystery. Trait 2, mystery that fuels her imagination. What you don't reveal is more powerful than what you explain. Predictable men feel safe, but they're forgettable. Mysterious men, they haunt her thoughts. They live in her imagination long after they've left the room. That's not about being distant or cold. It's about being unreadable in a world full of men who overexpose themselves. Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. He didn't mean you should be fake. He meant, let them see just enough to believe, but never enough to control. Because when a woman thinks she fully knows you, she categorizes you. But when she feels something and can't quite explain why, that's when obsession begins. Picture this. She texts you, "What are you doing tonight?" The average guy answers like a resume. "Not much. Gonna watch Netflix, grab some food, maybe hit the gym." He thinks he's being open, but what she sees is predictability, simplicity, nothing to chase. Now here's what the magnetic man does. He answers, "Got a few things lined up. What about you?" Just vague enough to be real, just focused enough to be intriguing. And in that moment, something sparks. Her mind starts filling in the blanks, because mystery doesn't confuse her, it activates her. Here's a subtle but powerful shift you can make right now. Say less than you know. Reveal less than you feel. Let your actions imply more than your words reveal. You don't do this to play games. You do it because your life is already full of purpose, and she's just beginning to orbit it. Because when a man stays composed, focused, and slightly unreadable, she doesn't chase answers. She chases you. Let's move on. Because even mystery needs something deeper underneath. And that's where the next trait comes in. The one that separates attention from true respect. Trait 3. Unshakable emotional frame, especially in social dynamics. There's a hidden power most men ignore until it's too late. It's not in how you treat her, but in how you carry yourself around others. See, women don't just fall for how you treat them in private. They get obsessed by how you move in the world, especially when eyes are on you. It's not about being the loudest. It's about being the most centered. Machiavelli believed, there is nothing more important than appearing to have great qualities, even when you don't possess them. Because in politics, like in love, perception is power. Here's how this plays out in real life. You're with her at a dinner, or a party, or even just in public. A guy makes a passive-aggressive comment. The vibe shifts, tension rises. She turns to you, silently wondering, will he lose his cool or control the room? The average man responds emotionally. He tries to prove something. He overreacts. He seeks approval. She smiles to keep things polite, but inside her attraction dies. Now let's switch it up. You stay calm. You don't overtalk. You let the moment breathe. And when you finally speak, it's brief, direct, smooth. No flex, no panic, just presence. Here's your action step. In any room, especially when tension appears, don't rush to defend. Don't react to every comment. Let silence work for you. Be the eye of the storm, not the noise around it. Because the man who commands social space without effort becomes unforgettable. Not just to her, but to everyone watching. Let's go deeper. Because the next trait doesn't just affect how she sees you, it controls how deeply she feels you, even when you're not around. Trait 4. Controlled polarity. The masculine tension that triggers female obsession. Men who try to be soft to keep a woman close end up losing both their edge and her desire. Because women don't obsess over comfort. They obsess over contrast. The tension between your fire and your calm, your control and your mystery, your strength and your silence. Most guys don't get this. They think showing emotion means crying with her, explaining everything, apologizing for every shift in energy. But here's the truth. A man who steps into her storm gets swept away by it. Machiavelli gave us the code centuries ago. It is necessary to be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten the wolves. In relationships, that means this. You need the wisdom to sense emotional traps and the power to hold your frame through them. Let's look at how this shows up in real life. She gets triggered. She accuses you. She says you're distant, that you never open up. She cries. She yells. She says, "You don't even care." Now most men crumble right here. They apologize fast. They say anything to calm her down. Not because they're bad men, but because they don't understand polarity. But here's the problem. When you shrink in front of her chaos, she feels alone, not emotionally, but energetically. Because she doesn't want you to join her storm. She wants to feel your calm in the middle of it. So here's your move, starting now. When she's emotional, hold your center. Let her speak. Let her cry. Let her move through her waves. But don't match it. Don't explain your worth. Don't beg for peace. Say less. Breathe slower. Speak low and clear. Let her realize, in her own timing, that she's safe. Not because you folded, but because you didn't. Because when she feels your masculine stillness in the middle of her storm, that's when she starts to melt. Not from logic, but from instinct. And that instinct? It's the seed of obsession. Let's move to the final trait, the one that makes everything else last. Not just for a night, but for a lifetime. Trait 5. Non-attachment to outcome. The quiet power that makes her chase. The more you try to secure her feelings, the faster she questions them. Women don't become obsessed with the man who clings. They become obsessed with the one who can walk away and mean it. Because obsession is never born from control. It's born from freedom. The feeling that you don't need her, and yet you still choose her. Machiavelli once warned, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." In modern relationships, that means this. If your confidence is built on her approval, your strength will collapse the moment she pulls back. Let's bring this to real life. You meet a woman you like. She gives you attention, energy, everything flows. Then one day, she changes. She texts less, acts distant, says she's confused. And now you feel the panic rise. You try harder. You explain yourself. You send long messages, hoping she'll understand. But here's what most men don't realize. The moment she senses you fear losing her, she loses interest. Now picture this instead. She says, "I don't know what I want anymore." And you reply, calm, steady, grounded, "Take your time. I know what I want. I'll be fine either way." You didn't chase, you didn't fold, you didn't try to pull her back into orbit. And that shift in energy, it hits her deeper than 1,000 compliments. Because in that moment, she realizes something. You're not trying to win her. You've already won yourself. Here's a clear move to apply starting now. Practice letting go of the result. If she texts back, great. If she doesn't, your life continues at full speed. No slowdown, no self-doubt, no emotional collapse. Make your standard this. I want you, but I'll never beg to be kept. Because the man who can stay composed when things get uncertain becomes the one she starts to crave with uncertainty. Let's wrap this up, because now you've got the full picture. And once you see how it all connects, you'll understand why these 5 traits aren't just for attraction. They're for total inner power. Now you understand the truth most men never grasp. Obsession doesn't come from chasing, proving, or performing. It doesn't come from flowers, compliments, or constant attention. It comes from something deeper, something that can't be faked, something she feels before she even tries to explain it. It's your energy. It's the way you walk into a room without needing to impress. The way you hold silence like a sword. The way your presence speaks before your words ever do. That quiet gravity, unshakable, unfazed, undeniable. Machiavelli never wrote about seduction, but he understood the nature of power, and obsession is power in emotional form. He taught us that control doesn't come from force. It comes from perception, from posture, from strategy. He taught us, men judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone sees, but few understand. And that's what makes her obsessed. Not your actions, but the energy that makes her question them. Not your words, but the silence that follows them. Not your effort, but the sense of depth she can't decode. So remember this. Stay emotionally sovereign. Let no mood, no silence, no shift in her tone shake your inner stability. Build your mystery. Speak less. Reveal less. Let curiosity be your shadow. Prioritize your mission. Your path is sacred. Never detour for approval. Keep your polarity strong. Be the calm in her chaos, the edge in her softness. Let go of outcomes, but never your standards. Want her, don't need her, and never tolerate less than you deserve. Because once you embody these traits, not perform them, not pretend them, but live them, she won't just notice you, she won't just admire you, she'll feel you in her thoughts, in her body, in her silence, even when you're nowhere to be seen. And that's how obsession begins, not through seduction, but through presence, not through noise, but through undeniable gravity. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be validated. You are here to be chosen by life, by purpose, by women who recognize strength when they feel it. So stay sharp, stay grounded, stay sovereign. Because the man who becomes the storm is never afraid of the wind. One last message for those who truly want to change their life. For those who are ready to detach from the 99% and play a different game. What I'm working on will change the way women see you and the way you see yourself. It's coming soon, so stay tuned. If this spoke to you, don't just keep it in your head. Write a comment, even just a few words. It helps you remember, and it might help someone else too. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and share this with someone who, in your eyes, needs it right now. Just trust your instinct. We're all trying to get clearer, more solid inside. So let's build minds that don't break.